Arnold.
Okay, it is June the 13th. This is the Dean Arnold podcast, and we are going to talk about audio experiences today. A little bit different. This is the Dean Arnold podcast. I'm running for Congress. Vote for me November 3rd. Give to my campaign, DeanArnoldForCongress.com. And we're going to rock and roll today on the greatest audio experiences of my life. We got a jazz thing. We got a big band thing. We've got a classical choral kind of thing. And then we've got a DCI Drum Corps International thing, which some of you don't know anything about. But we're going to talk about all that. It's going to be a little different, but it's going to be good. It's going to be good. So let's get to it. I'm bringing sanity to an insane world, and I'll be checking for comments. So if anybody wants to make a comment or question during this live stream, a little later today than usual for reasons, then please do that. June 13th. Here we go. First, let's get to the usual thing we do, which is the daily verse on the calendar. I seem to be getting better and better at this. Let's see how I do. There it is. Nice. Okay, so we got an interesting verse on the calendar today. We have to handle it with a little bit of dexterity. Matthew 7, verse 1. A very famous verse. Probably maybe the most famous verse in the Bible for not a good reason. Judge not, that ye be not judged. Judge not, lest you be judged, I guess is the King James. For with what judgment you judge, you will be judged, and with what measure you use, it will be measured back to you. Why look at the speck in your brother's eye and not think of the plank in your own eye? Or how can you say to your brother, let me remove the speck in your own eye, and not look at the plank in your own eye? Hypocrite! First remove the plank from your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. It doesn't say not to judge. He says get the plank out first. Do not give what is holy to the dogs. That's for sure. Don't be going around judging people if people don't want to hear it. Then he gets into some other stuff, but we're just gonna inspect this for a little bit. Judge not, lest ye be judged. You'll hear all kinds of non-Christians invoking this verse. Judge not, lest ye be judged. They don't know what it means. They don't know anything else in the Bible. It's just ridiculous how they handle this verse. But does it mean not to judge? I'm going to wager or suggest that no, it doesn't mean that. It certainly means there's another verse, I think we've already come across it on the church calendar, where Jesus says, don't say to your brother, you fool. Don't condemn your brother. Don't say you're going to hell. Don't say you're an idiot. I hate you. These are, I think, kind of the ultimate judging that he's talking about that you don't want to do. Not just your brother, but anybody. Let me give you a little verse that will, I don't want to say prove, but will bring some insight into this whole thing of never ever judge, which is it's really a dumb idea. But this verse here in 1 Corinthians 5, the Apostle Paul says, What business is it of mine to judge those outside the church? Okay, we're tracking here. Are you not to judge those inside? So we got some judging going on here. Are you not to judge those inside? Jesus says don't judge your brother. Paul says you're supposed to judge your brothers that are inside the church. So which is it? Well, like a lot of things, you got to discern, you got to get the nuance, you got to work through it, you got to figure out what's really being said here. There is judging. There's judging everywhere. The reality is you can't live life without judging good and bad, pure water versus defiled water. You got to judge whether a person should be allowed in your house or not allowed in your house because they're holding a gun. Are you judging them? No. I mean, you're making a judgment, sure. but it's not the ultimate judge. It's just whatever. If you speak, if you use words, you are delineating one thing from another. You are judging. So, this whole insanity, I'm bringing sanity to an insane world. This insanity of never judge has got to go. Never condemn, never hate, never send people to hell in your heart. Certainly. Never distinguish, never discern, never try to make delineations in order to protect people. Of course, you got to do that. Judge not, lest you be judged. That's the verse today we're going to look at. Now we are going to go switch to the martyr of the saint of the day. Let's see what. Ooh, not doing as well with this, and I apologize, but it's going to come. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Thought it was coming. There it is. Martyr Aquilina of Byblos in Syria. Which brings us to a funny story about my wife, who can be very funny. But she often makes the joke that some kids are named Aquanetta because the mother looked up right after the kid was born and saw Aquanet on the counter and decided to name the child Aquanetta. All right, that was just a brief aside that has nothing to do with anything, but it is funny. And she can be funny. She doesn't purport herself as funny, but she is funny. And I don't mean funny like making fun of her. I mean funny, haha. She got some wit. Anyway, Martyr Aquilina of Byblos in Syria. She's another 3rd century saint under Diocletian. Who we've seen a lot of saints who've been persecuted under Diocletian, the Roman emperor. She was 12, raised by godly parents, and she was brought before the imperial governor Volusian for various reasons. She confessed her faith in Christ. She was accused of teaching others not to follow the religion of their fathers. Volusian tried to influence her and with flattery and this, that, and the other, but she wouldn't go for it, so he ordered her to be tortured, the 12-year-old girl. How nice of him to do that. They struck her in the face, they stripped her, and they beat her with whips, and the torturer said, "Where then is your God? Let him come and take you out of my hands." She said, "The Lord is here with me invisibly, and the more I suffer, the more strength and endurance he will give me." Okay. 12-year-old girl. Is there a 30-year-old man in the house in the United States in the year 2026 who would do such a thing, say such a thing? I don't know. Would I do it? Only with the amazing power of the Holy Spirit. So they drilled through the martyr's ears with heated metal rods. How nice. The Holy Virgin fell down as if dead. The torturer thought the girl had actually died, and he gave orders to throw her body outside the city to be eaten by dogs. But by night a holy angel appeared to Saint Aquilina and said, "Go and denounce Volusian so that his plans come to nothing." So she went back to the court of the governor and stood before him. Seeing Saint Aquilina, he called for his servants and ordered to keep watch over her. And he said that she was a sorceress. All right, this thing is not keeping the lid as I had hoped. About a whole batch of them, too. Better. When they led the saint to execution, she prayed and gave thanks to God for allowing her to suffer for his holy name. Again, craziness. Paul talks that way, being grateful and happy to suffer and so thankful for it. Different level for me. Different level, folks. A voice was heard in answer to her prayer, and so the martyr gave up her spirit to God. And they took her relics after they beheaded her to a place in Constantinople, and now there is a church named after Saint Aquilina. Wow. Pretty good stuff. All right, let's get to our topic of the day. Audio greatest audio experiences. I've written blogs all throughout my life. I go through benches where I blog a lot. I go through benches where I don't blog a lot. But I'm always keeping lists of potential blog topics, and this is one of them that I kept around in my hip pocket. My greatest audio experiences. And I never wrote it in part because blog is not audio, but this thing, the daily podcast, is audio, has audio features. So we're going to try to share a few things with you, see how we do. I'm not sure how good I'll be at it, but I'm going to try. Audio experiences. And this is all musical. What I mean by that. Greatest musical, live musical experiences, whatever. Just a little background. I grew up in a musical family. My grandfather led a swing band in the Roaring Twenties. He was a singer, a sax player, maybe the banjo. Anyway, he was a dude, and he was leading it, and he was making it happen back in the 20s. He chucked it for more money, started a furniture business, retired early, played golf the rest of his life. You know, he lived the life. Good for him. Cliff Arnold. So I got music background with him. And then on my mother's side, there was a lot of music, kids playing the piano and this, that, and the other. Her grandfather, my great-grandfather, was deeply into classical music in Hollywood. He was a doctor in Hollywood, and he is the founder of the Hollywood Bowl. He came up with the idea. And that was back then. It was almost exclusively classical concerts. I mean, they did some Shakespearean plays, but it's not like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and that kind of stuff you have now. It was all heavily classical music. So I've got that in my background. I grew up. My older brother Brian was a jazz aficionado, and he taped all these things from the radio onto cassette tape. And I grew up listening to, Thelonious Monk. And Art Tatum and all these obscure but awesome jazz people. Miles Davis. So that trained to my ear very well. Had an incredible band experience with Bill Carr, who's a big Facebook follower. Maybe he'll hear this. And which was how I got involved with DCI, Drum Corps International, which we'll talk about at the end here. But I'm going to share with you, I think it's 4, maybe it's 5, of my greatest audio experiences. The first one I'm going to share is I was in Roanoke, Virginia. I was probably 16, 15, I can't remember. But I was a big band dude. And I was at a football game. No, I think it was a July 4th concert. They got the symphony out there, and they got like 100 feet of speakers all on top of each other. And that, so you could hear the symphony. So that was cool. So, they're playing 1812 Overture by Tchaikovsky. Ooh, we'll get to him one day. I'm going to do a podcast on Tchaikovsky. Whew, heavy. He had problems, but a brilliant composer. So what are you going to do? I digress. So we had this concert at the July 4th concert at Victory Stadium. You Roanoke people that I grew up with, Victory Stadium, which has since been torn down, but it was a great big old stadium that I think sat about 30,000, 40,000. Anyway, so we have the concert, and then when the concert's over, everybody's leaving and the crowd is dispersing and the techies are out there tearing everything down. Well, some blessed soul decided he was going to take advantage of the 100 feet of speakers, just a giant wall of speakers all on top of each other. And he put on Stan Kenton's Intermission Riff. Anybody know Intermission Riff? Is that the right song? I think so. Bum 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 ba dum bum bum ba da da. You big band people know about that intermission riff. And so that guy put it on the speakers. Whoa, it was loud. Whoa, it was full. It was big. Well, we've lived all our lives listening to stuff on the stereo. Okay, the car radio. You can get some pretty good sound. You can do pretty good. My friend Mickey, I don't know if he'll listen to this, but he's an audio junkie, and he can put out some incredible stuff on the stereo, CD player, record player. But this thing was like way beyond all that, and it was excellent. It was even better than, in a certain sense, than actual band on the stage. It was huge, full sound. So that's number one. Audio experience number two. So I'm still just like 16. No, I think this time I may be 15 or 14. I can't remember. But I played trumpet growing up, and was in the band playing trumpet. And somebody said, hey, Count Basie's in concert at Roanoke College. They got this really, really nice little small auditorium called Olin Hall, I think it was called. And Count Basie's in concert there. Well, so me and a few band nerds, we all go to the Count Basie concert. I hardly knew who Count Basie was at that point. Count Basie is one of the great big band leaders, if you didn't know. Duke Ellington, Stan Kenton, I can think of a few more. But Basie was in concert there, and there was like nobody there. Somebody didn't do a very good job of promoting the concert, so we're in this small, nice raised audience seating, focused right in on the band, and we had this concert with Count Basie. These musicians, they were unbelievable. It was perfectly mic'd. The acoustics were fantastic, and man, these guys could play. And it was a small little audience, and there was no pressure. And so 2 hours of musical audio genius. And that is my second audio experience. I still got a signature of Count Basie from that thing afterwards. Third audio experience. I'm going to give you an example, let you hear it. But around 2006, 2007, I went to Oxford, to just above London, to write a movie script about J.R. Tolkien and C.S. Lewis, subject of another podcast at some point. C.S. Lewis was a professor at Magdalen College. It's a little weird because it's spelled Magdalen. It seems like you'd pronounce it Magdalen, but you pronounce it Magdalen. And C.S. Lewis was a professor there, but I was living on the Oxford campus. I was hanging out there for 6 months. And every Friday night, the Magdalen College would have, let's see if I got this going on. Okay, stop there. I think I could bring this in, bring it, add it. Ooh, looky there. Magdalen College would have what they called evensong, which I think it's another word for Vespers. I didn't know what it was, but someone said, you need to go to evensong at Magdalen College, trust me. And so I said, okay. So 6 o'clock in the evening, I go into the glorious, like 15th century chapel of Magdalen College, which you'll get a little bit of here in this 30 seconds of video I'm going to show you. And they got the little boys for the boys choir. They got some teenagers. They got some adults singing in this incredible ancient church with incredible acoustics. And it was amazing. I don't think this video is going to do it justice, but it turned out to be one of the greatest audio experiences of my life. Let's see how we do here. Let's play it for 30 seconds. Are you ready? All right, there you go. So that is the Magdalen. Uh, do they call it boys choir? Even song. Uh, it doesn't do it justice, but this is my story. This was one of my greatest audio musical experiences ever. And now we'll go to the climax, which is Drum Corps International. Okay, what is DCI, Drum Corps International? It is mega nerd band people on steroids, is really what it is. It is a subculture that is big and huge and vibrant and continuing to be phenomenal, and only really band nerds on steroids know about it. But everybody should go. The finals every year in Indianapolis, but there's usually one in a city near you in the midsummer. If you look it up, DCI, Drum and Bugle Corps, I think will get you to some kind of schedule. And I've been to the finals 2 or 3 times, 30 years ago, and then I've gone to ones near me once or twice, 3 times in the last 15 years, just because the audio experience is so incredible. But first, let me give you a sense of what the whole thing is and looks like. So this particular clip, I'm going to show you like a couple of 30-second clips. I'm not going to overwhelm you. Okay, let me bring this up. There you go. So this is, there's like all these drum and bugle corps from various cities. So this is one of the corps from the various cities. They're having a competition. Somebody wins. In a minute, I'm going to show you when all the corps get together and play one song at the same time. That's going to be the big, greatest audio experience. But so just here's one corps performing. I want you to see that. You got flags and rifles and drums, and it's a wild show. You got to trust me on this. All right, there you go. So that is a corps performing, and that in itself, I mean, without them all getting together, you still got probably the greatest audio experience of your life. They're all playing bugles, and it's like 10 times louder than like college bands, when you see those. That's all kind of hokey. Just be honest with you, compared to this. I mean, this is for real. Okay, and so what happens at the end of the competition when the judges are all trying to figure out who's going to win or whatever, they march all the different corps onto the field, and they because they're getting ready to announce who the winners are. It's like Miss America, number 5, number 4, number 3 all come up, and but there you go. There's a picture of all the corps there at the same time, and it's the top corps, so they're incredible musicians and they play really loud. And then they usually play sometimes they play this, like they call it a final retreat or something, but all the corps play the same song. Often it's America the Beautiful, which I'm going to show you here. And I'm going to play it for you for 30 seconds. It is not going to do it justice. Sorry about that. But I would probably count this, having seen this 2 or 3 times, I would count this as probably the greatest audio musical experience of my life. The fullness, the amount, the beauty of it. It was incredible. Oh, I think I goofed up. Let me try this. Alrighty. We are at 55. Let's get rid of that. This is what I meant to do. Alright, let's listen to this for about 30 seconds. There you go. Everybody's clapping. Should be. I clapped when I was there. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this little podcast talking about audio experiences. You know, we live in this digital age, you know, where everything's mediated to us through digital stuff. And, you know, even phonographs and records, you know, it's not the real thing. So, you know, we need to get back to more live entertainment and playing instruments ourselves and all that kind of stuff, interacting with humans one-on-one in live experiences. But this is a reminder to us to do that kind of thing, you know, and to think about your greatest audio or musical experiences. So I find it interesting, and I hope you like it. And the whole purpose of this daily podcast is for you to get to know me, because I want you to vote for me for Congress. DeanArnoldForCongress.com. So see if you can do that. Today's June 13th. Let me bring up my little thing there. Well, that wasn't very good. This doesn't really matter, does it? Yeah, there we go. I'm bringing sanity to an insane world. We need to check for comments. That's one of my notes that I always bring up here. And, no comments. Wonderful. Today's June 13th. I'm running for Congress. Vote for me. Give me money. DeanArnoldForCongress.com. And today was music. And tomorrow we'll do something different, but it should be good. So now I got to find the music, because we're going to head on out of here.
Dean Arnold.